Do you really hate the Deacons? Like, really hate these guys? Do you think you could do better? I sure can. So, I'm gonna take their spell and beat the game with it. Deep Soul is a fairly interesting spell. It's slow, has lazy homing, and does dark damage. It also has an improved variant in the form of Great Deep Soul. So, let's get the run started. Already through the Cemetery of Ash, we're to Eudex. We steady chant and start to take down our first challenge. Damage is discouraging, but FP use is small, so we try anyway. So, this fight is actually going to be a challenge. And, with a small amount of thought, I'm confident we can overcome it. Where did that arrow come from? Whatever, let's just get this over with. Most of you watching aren't subscribed. Make sure to wait, what am I saying? Do you want to watch Dark Souls, but upside down? Well, I'm streaming it this Sunday. Go follow me on Twitch, and join the Discord for updates. Be there, or be square? I don't know. Pressing onward, we move to the obvious next challenge, the Swordmaster, who is a little too eager to fight me. Next is the tree jump for more Estus. Really? For more Estus? And the Silver Serpent Ring. Heavy door number 532. And we forgot something already. The Crystal Lizard in the Cemetery of Ash. And leveling up. Most enemies in the high wall are rather stubborn when it comes to dying. After making the mistake of engaging the Lothar at night, we're to our next bonfire. There's some goodies around high wow! And next, we're to Vort, where we can spam Deep Souls before Vort can even do anything, draining Vort's health fairly quick, all the way to phase 2. And after the charges, we spam Vort down to 0 health, making for an easy second boss. And, raising our banner, we start to have trouble in the settlement. Deep Soul is no match for these dogs. Well, almost no match. We find Yol, and well, he's plenty useful if you know what you're doing. There's a ton of things to grab in the undead settlement, and so we make our way through, grabbing anything and everything that might be useful to us. We open our path to the dense brush and take him on. This fight mostly consists of poorly framing our spell, hoping for a hit, and sometimes we get a hit. And sometimes we die. Well, most of the time we die. You only need to win once though, and we do. We take the easiest way forward from here, and zone this guy out like a loser. We help out our onion friend in killing a demon, although I did most of the work. We come across the best armor in the game, and a good ring. Now that we're in the road of sacrifices, we grab the Crest Shield, and head to our first ranged boss. And while you can stunlock her, you can only get 1 or 2 hits in before she tries to leave. But we come up with a plan. The Sage is unable to escape if she has a soul mass above her head, and so the plan is to isolate her. Get her to cast soul mass, and soul mass doesn't cast if you're far enough away, letting us get a very large amount of damage in, and eventually ending the fight. There's some annoying enemies as we head into the cathedral. Actually, annoying enemies are all throughout the cathedral. Actually, even the boss for the cathedral is annoying. And whew, what an insane boss. I can't believe I did that. Only one route forward, and it's the Abyss Watchers. The first problem I'm facing here is that Deep Soul pretty much refuses to hit this boss. And if it does hit, the boss is taking me with it. Even with Morian Blade, our damage isn't amazing. So, we try to rely on the third Watcher, only supporting him, which doesn't end well. We often become greedy during these runs, which leads to many lost attempts. Until one attempt, where we start to level up our zoning game against the main Abyss Watcher, leading to some massive damage. And the end of Phase 1. Well, let's see what Phase 2 is going to look like. So, judging by the lack of hit stun, this part of the phase is going to be very patient and slow. We do good damage, and can run away pretty easily from just one Watcher. The problem we're facing here is just the time it's taking to kill the boss. We can pretty often throw out a Deep Soul or two. It's just up in the air as to whether it'll hit or not. And, after a long fight, and a little greed for good measure, we take down the Abyss Watchers. We make our way into the Catacombs next, and completely fail to kill this skeleton wizard, making our job a lot harder. We try to zone him out, and for the most part, it works, killing him and giving us our 4th undead bone shard. We light our next bonfire, and make it to a boss that's more scary than you think. Wolnir is resistant to dark, as it were. So, on top of being hard to hit, we have to hit him a lot. Our strategy to deal with this isn't really apparent, because we end up just spamming our Deep Souls. And while it may break 1, even 2 bracelets over a period of time, we need better execution if we're going to do this, because right now, this ain't it. On our second attempt, we play a bit slower, and while it may bring skeletons, and after a while, even Wolnir's sword, it's not an issue to me yet. Because the skeletons, well, the skeletons can be killed. And the sword can be put away. One thing most people wouldn't find out about Wolnir is that as more skeletons get spawned, they start to become stronger. But they're no match for Wolnir himself. But I am, and as we run out of mana, we start to punch Wolnir. And we kill Wolnir, second try. Moving down to the Smoldering Lake, we get ready to kill the Stray. Wait, do you guys hear that? Who's playing that music? That's more like it. Well, Stray Demon doesn't really pose much of an issue, especially with our skeleton friends. There's 2 reasons we're here in the Smoldering Lake. The important one is the Isolus staff, which has amazing damage with anything dark compared to the regular staffs. If I can hit somebody, the second reason will be important later. For now, it's time to kill Dancer. Damage is honestly good for taking on Dancer this early. The only problem is our health. On our next attempt, we go in Ember to take more than 2 hits. And it's useful. We stay out of her range for the most part, and dodge when we need to. The only thing important you need to know about any form of underleveled Dancer is to spend as little time in the arena as possible. Dancer being a boss you can usually rush down. The longer the fight, the more apparent the unusual attacks become. That being said, we try to spend as little time close to her as well, trying to get her to do a slow and punishable attack. And, needless to say, it works. Well, here we are again, to watch this statue bleed. Who even supplied this blood? Is it the statue's blood? While we're here, we grab an undead bone shard, and we grab what we came here for. The red tearstone ring. We won't use it though, even if we want to. Next, we kill our friend Leonhard for his mask, which we want. We make quick work of one of Sullivan's beasts, all the way to and through Irithyll Dungeon, only stopping to kill a mimic or 2, both holding important items to our build, but the Dark Clutch Ring is the main one we want. And then, we take on Yorn, who can be easily hit by the lazy homing of Deep Soul. Despite this, after a long fight, we're unsuccessful. We need something better. We need Great Deep Soul. The first step on our new journey is Pontiff. And despite failing the first parry, this fight goes well, because we can repeatedly dodge and parry Pontiff. And I mean repeatedly, because we do this a lot. Any mistake will lead to Pontiff getting the upper hand, but it doesn't last forever, thankfully. And, as Phase 2 arrives, Pontiff has some questionable moves, but we press onward. Pontiff is unable to dodge our Deep Souls due to their homing, which ends the fight quickly. The next step is to kill these two beasts. We manage the first, and then the second. Then, we offer some human dregs to McDonald to get us Great Deep Soul. Now, after getting down to Red Tearstone range, we're ready for Yorn. Throwing out Great Deep Soul, it's clear that the damage difference is huge. While Morian Blade and Red Tearstone helped, Great Deep Soul was carrying its weight. Just look at that stagger damage. And honestly, I feel kinda bad. Yorn didn't stand a chance. We move up to Anor Londo and get ready for Aldrich. Our damage is disappointing, Aldrich being resistant to Dark. We opt to stay close because the moveset Aldrich has on a ranged opponent is oppressive. Phase 2 brings with it a slew of new attacks, some of which set us back, or try to, and others stall us out. It's no match for Great Deep Soul, though. Moving on forward, we now have to head into Loc Castle. Oh wait, no we don't. We have a couple other bosses to kill, starting with Osiris. Osiris takes more damage than other bosses, and the slow speed that he moves at leads Phase 1 to be easy. And we choose Phase 2 for an all-around easy victory. Our second fight with Gundyr is up, and with the Sage's Ring, we can get counter damage on Gundyr, leading to an easy fight becoming even easier. Who's up next? Let's see. Oh yeah, Dragon Slayer armor. Wait, that damage can't be real. Wait, so how is this possible again? I honestly have no clue how we're gonna do this through anything but sheer force of will. Deep Soul is somehow quick and slow at the same time. I can cast multiple, but I'm never safe to cast without hitting his shield most of the time, which only does 4 damage. 4 damage out of the massive 4.5 thousand HP health bar. As we get further into the fight, we get increasingly nervous about finishing the fight. Look at our remaining potential damage, and the boss's health. Is this even possible? And can we even execute it? We're running out of heals. And as we fully run out of heals, the fight ends. Not in our favor. With the Dragon Slayer armor down, it's a straight shot to our next boss. Let's see our damage on Lorien. Wait, no, hit him again. Cut the music. This can't be real. I'm not doing this again. We're doing something else right now. No way. You know what's bad? when you'd rather do something really boring instead of your roadblock. Normally, I'd just do it, but not after Dragon Slayer armor. As you can see, Ancient Wyvern is boring, all the way to the end. There's another boss in this area, but first, we have to anger him. And anger him we do, leading to our next boss. We throw out our first Deep Soul here, and wow, apparently this boss is weak to Dark. And we even get a stagger in, despite this phase only lasting 30 seconds. Well, it can't always be easy. At least, those were my thoughts going into phase 2. And as we brave the storm, we see our opponent. Our opponent is apparently also weak to Dark, because we are shredding our opponent's health. A minute goes by, and the king is still trying to use his lightning to take us down, but it doesn't work. And as we continue to battle, the nameless king is a king no longer. As we look at our character, we think, damn, I look fucking dope. This is who I want to be. Fuck it. And well, there's only one place to go now, Lorien. And this fight is intense. It feels like you can't take damage. And well, we don't this time. At least in phase 1, which ends after a long, long time. In phase 2, man, I hate phase 2. I hate it. I hate it! But well, it doesn't last forever. It doesn't last forever. Breaking a bridge, we're already to our first boss of the DLC. And these dogs aren't a huge issue this time around. The Gravetender also has trouble dodging our Deep Souls, bringing about his death not too soon after the Great Wolf shows up. As for the wolf herself, I mean, this boss isn't really that hard. Sir Wilhelm is annoying. He won't stop casting Vow of Silence. I think he ran out of mana eventually, though. And, as we turn the lever, we get ready for our next boss. And Frida really wishes she could dodge her attacks, but she can't. And we spam her down all the way to phase 2. In phase 2 is the same thing with a bigger target. So, I'll let you guess how that goes. When phase 3 comes around, the only factors that affect the difficulty here is just how much Frida moves around, that and the amount of attacks she throws out within a short span. There's not much to do, but just run from it most of the time, only sometimes getting a punish window. That's a recipe for success though, and we get a lucky string of Deep Souls, ending our long fight with this boss and the first DLC. Just in case anyone was wondering, the Murky Longstaff is not better than the Izalith Staff. I tested it. We attempt to make the shortcut and oh my god! Well, there's nowhere else to go but to the Demon Prince. Our damage isn't actually that bad. I think this is doable. It's not too hard to keep away from one or both of them. And, I mean, that's some good damage. And soon, one goes down, and so does the other. But it's not over. Now, we have the bridge Midir. Let's see the damage on this prerequisite to Midir. We cast, and... Oh, no. Well, let's try Half-Light. As the first Painting Guardian gets summoned, we develop our strategy. And take on our experiences from the run prior. We spam them down, as we've done everything. And hey, it works. Half-Light comes in, and we do more of the same, although a little slower. Eventually, another Painting Guardian comes in, and there's not much more to do but to try.